that autofocus.
For the camera.
That's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail right there. Welcome to episode 4 of Ask Shaniel. Are we sticking with that name? Because that is a shit name, isn't it?
No, it's not. Stick with it. Ask Shaniel. I like it. Yeah.
We have got our first ever guest. Ever. We don't know if it's going to be one of many. It could be the only one. Depends how well it goes.
It could go that badly.
What a guest to get.
The wonderful Christian Carlisle.
Thank you for having me, gents.
So tell us who you are and what you do.
So as they've said, my name's Christian and I present BBC Introducing on Radio Sheffield. I've done that for about 9 years now. Also a DJ, travel all over. Yeah, just wherever the money takes me, really, to be quite honest with you.
Just sauntering through life, riding that music wave, really.
Exactly, Making a lot of money off of other people's music. Yeah, isn't that just the story of the music industry? Yeah, that's just what I do. Yeah.
So, bit of background on this podcast. So we're very silly. Yeah. We don't really. I don't know. We go on tangents. So if we do end up going off on tangents, don't worry about it. Let it go.
Yeah,
just let it
You've been doing it all day.
I grew up watching a lot of Eddie Izzard, and that's the comedic level where it's just you'll find yourself on one line, and then half an hour later you're just like talking about cauliflowers.
How do we get to this?
Yeah, where were we originally? Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So let's talk about music. I know we've just done a podcast with you, and you're asking us loads of questions about music. So a return question for you. Where did it all start for you with music? Were you a musician?
Right, okay. I tell you what, I can pinpoint almost the exact moment. So I grew up in very rural Scotland, right? I used to live in a village, population 200, 10 miles from the nearest shop.
Proper log tossing territory.
Yeah, definitely. We had a bus, it came every Thursday, right? It was that remote. So there wasn't much scope. Honestly, so there wasn't much scope for going to gigs. If you wanted to go and see like a touring band, you had to say travel to Glasgow or Edinburgh, and that was like a 150 mile overnight stay, so it was expensive. So I got my first job straight out of school working at a shortbread factory, and I met this new... honestly,
way.
Walker's shortbread, right? Seriously, I was packing biscuits. That was my first ever job, right? And but the good thing was I met some like really cool guys when I was working there, and one of them was like, well, we're going to Tea in the Park, so like, do you want to come? So this was back in the day when Tea in the Park, when music festivals were 2 days rather than 3. A weekend camping ticket cost me £65.
Can't be all the way in.
And I think the headliners were who was it? It was like Chemical Brothers on the Sunday and an Oasis on the Saturday night, right? But
not bad.
So I went down because a lot of like the daytime lineup, you were talking stuff like Green Day and things like that, which is what I was really into. Like my music taste when when you start like discover music on your own rather than say what your parents listen to or whatever. I was into like the early Green Day albums, like Dookie was just on repeat and stuff. So I went down to Tea in the Park with my mate, and I had no idea what to expect. I'd never even been to a gig before, and I rocked up at a music festival, and it was glorious summer sunshine, and I was just like totally green to the whole festival experience.
Changed your life, doesn't it?
Oh, it was mental. Like I walked into the main festival site, and there's a guy there smoking like a 9-foot bong, and I'm like, what's he doing? Like that sort of level of just don't know what's going on in the world, right?
It changed my life forever.
It's mental. Now we went in, and I think the first band we saw were Less Than Jake. And we were working our way in through the crowd, these two young lads, and they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the lead singer says, I want to see a big circle pit right in the middle. I turned to my mate, I'm like, what's a circle pit? Next thing I know, my legs are out from under me, and I'm just getting dragged around with like 1,000 other sweaty Scottish lads. And I came out of it about 15 minutes later with like a footprint there and somebody else's blood all down my face, getting picked up by somebody twice my age, like, you all right, son? I'm like, yes, throw me back in. And he did. He was like, on you go then. And he just launched me back in, and then that was it. I spent probably 12 hours that day just moshing and getting in circle pits and just absolutely breaking my body. Like,
different world.
Yeah, it was. If I do that for more than 5 minutes now, I need to see a fucking chiropractor. Yeah, but it's at the age, and that was it. From that point, So I was watching one of the bands and I remember seeing people, like that viewing platform at the side. I remember seeing them and thinking, I want to be there one day. And the great irony of it is now that whenever I do go up there to watch a band, I think, shit, I want to be down there moshing actually. So I spent the best part of almost 20 years trying to get up there only to realise that actually that's where it's at.
That's where the party is,
yeah. It's definitely.
What's like the most outrageous thing you've ever seen at a festival?
Is that podcast material?
The outrageous thing I've ever seen, or most outrageous thing I've ever done. We used to do. It became a bit of a trend up at Tea in the Park while I was still up there that we used to do the Naked Olympics every year in the campsite. We had the poles that hold up the lights, racing to climb up those poles and put a beer bottle on top, completely starkers naked. I think one of the craziest things I've ever heard at a festival came from a friend of mine who we were camped with. I wasn't with him at the time it happened, but I heard about it from almost immediately after it happened. It was an incredibly hot day, and I think it was The Darkness that they were playing on the main stage. And one of my mates he died. Right, he fell over and his heart stopped, and everybody around him panicked, and they were like, "Shit!" So they had the guys come over from the ambulance, and they put him on a stretcher, and they rushed him over, and everybody's there like crying, and they hit him with the paddles, and he sat bolt upright, and just went and ran back out into the crowd. So they were like, "You got to find him! You got to find him! You've got to find him! We need to take him to hospital." His heart literally stopped. I found him about 10 hours later in the campsite, just with a massive biff, just like, well, that was a fucking experience, wasn't it? And he was just taking it in his stride. It was like, your heart literally stopped. They had to bring you back to life. And he was like, aye, fucking mental, wasn't it? Just carried on. He ran out into the crowd and just carried on watching bands for the rest of the day.
Unbelievable.
Other than that, I was at Leeds Fest when the Poo Girl incident happened. Have you ever
I remember
that was like my first year there.
It was. I was there when I saw the fire engine just rushing up the middle aisle, and everybody was like, "What's happening?" Do you know the mad thing was? The next day, I saw people. I saw people in t-shirts saying I was at Leeds Fest when Poo Girl happened. I was like, "How do you?" That is a quick turnaround for that printing company.
4 years later, I saw Hadouken, and one of the first things he said after the first song was, "Anyone remember Poo Girl?"
Poo Girl, Poo Girl, Poo Girl.
Honestly, I remember my first time. Leeds Fest was my first festival, and I just couldn't get my head around it. I was like, this has been going on around me my entire life, and no one's thought to let me know. This is unbelievable. There's like a collective of about 110,000 people, and there's not one fuck anywhere. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you smell a piss. Nobody cares that you literally look like death. People just don't care. You see people doing things you would never see people doing in the normal world.
My first year at Leeds Fest, I made so many friends because we had a super soaker and we filled up its tank with 2 litres of vodka and just went around the Piccadilly party area, just like, who wants some booze? Doing it from a distance and stuff, and everybody was like, you're the guys with the super soaker.
Out.
we had an airbed, a double match and a paddling pool that had a swan's head on it, and we managed to get it into the main arena under our shirts, get into the main arena, gaffer taped it all together, blew it all up, and called it Mega Swan. And our mate's a jockey, and we just put him in it with an oar, like a paddle, just set him into
send him off.
And like, there was this guy, like, it went really far, and then I saw this guy, the first thing he did when he saw it, the first thing he thought to do just went,
Awesome.
We were like, what
an arsehole. I remember we were stood, it was when My Chemical Romance headlined it, and they were playing just after 30 Seconds to Mars, so I stood at the front all day, didn't go for a beer once, didn't go for a piss once, I soldiered on the entire day. And one of the funniest things I've ever seen, people were crowd surfing, and this kid, he must have been 10 maximum, 10 years old, like he's getting crowd surfing, you can see him giving thumbs up to his dad just like, hey. He gets to the front barrier, the guard, like the security goes to get him and like, help him down, the person at the front just goes, straight over him. So this guy's just stood watching his kid. He's like, yeah. And the next thing you know, his kid's just fucking sailing
Just some
through.
massive fuckers just NBA'd him. Just, yeet.
Come downtown.
Unbelievable. And then that same day as well, a bit of a side story. So we'd waited all day for 30 Seconds to Mars. And fucking the second they come on stage, my girlfriend at the time had a panic attack because the crowd was so much together. We had to get lifted out of the crowd, walk around the side and join the back of the crowd. I was fucking livid. And we've been making friends all day. And then Jared Leto was getting people on stage, and the people that he picked to get on stage were the people we've been speaking to all fucking day. And she was just stood there like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was like...
Do you know what? I
Don't
remember
speak to me.
being at the front for Green Day at a festival, and you know how they do that when they like, can anybody in the crowd play drums? And they get somebody on to play drums. Can anybody play guitar? I was there at the front, and I was just like, every time it was like, can anybody play drums? I was like, yeah, me. Can anybody play guitar? Yeah, me. I've never even touched the guitar in my life. Now, looking like at the time, I was like, yeah, just get me on stage. Looking back on it, I'm like, thank fuck they didn't get me on stage, because I'd have been up there just like, you know, with the guitar facing the wrong way around, just like, how do you, can you what is this a C? You know, like I've no idea.
70,000 people.
Yeah, and I'm just there,
And
just
a
like
clueless Christian
just like,
Carlisle.
Famous, man.
yeah, like that guy who got on stage and did
Foo
with the Freddie
Fighters.
Mercury for the Foo Fighters
what?
thing. Yeah, exactly.
You seen Kiss Guy?
Yeah.
Kiss Guy, that's unbelievable. What a moment. That guy owned that moment. Big shout out to Kiss Guy. What a boy.
And there's that chap at Gasto as well, is it Dave?
Yeah, I got up upstairs on the Dave set. Yeah, no, it was Dave. Was it Alfredo? I can't. It was one of the rappers, and he got up there and actually and just went for it, and he absolutely slayed
every
it.
single lyric, like everything. He knew the lot.
Oh, it was
Alex from Glasgow.
God, yeah,
Yes,
Alex from Glasgow.
as he's now eternally known,
So,
as far as
rumour has
anybody's
it he's got a
concerned.
record deal?
Yes, yeah.
Is that
apparently
right?
I
so.
heard that.
Yeah. It's just mental how 1 minute you're standing out in a crowd watching a band play at your favourite festival, and then the next you're some
You're the star
sort
of the show,
fucking
man.
internet sensation. Like it came up so many times in like highlight reels.
Yeah.
He killed it as well.
He
He had
did.
the attitude, he had the bum bag, and he had a fucking...
He had the bucket hat, he had the bum bag, he had it all. He had the Thiago Silva t-shirt on.
He nailed it. What a boy, mate. But the thing is, to get that good, he's performed that to himself. He either does his own shows or he's sat in a mirror and he's prepared for that moment.
You know what? I've only ever had one moment like that where, and I just I fucked it. I completely fucked it. Right? I was watching While She Sleeps, the four bands. They were playing through Manchester. And I was crowd surfing around, and I was just getting to the front in the bit of Trophies of Violence where they said Trophies of Violence, and Loz saw me crowd surfing. He was like, give me a wave, right? And he saw me coming towards the front, and he handed out the mic to me to do the Trophies of Violence, and just as I was reaching to get it, it just dropped like into the camera pit, and he just looked at me like disappointed. I was like, I'm so sorry. In reality, I can't help but think that if I'd have got the mic, I would, because I've never done like a scream in my life. I'd have got it and just be like, Trophies of Violence, you know, not a scream into it, just like some operatic shit.
Everyone just stops, just crickets.
Yeah, just like, what the fuck
I thought
was
you
that?
were going to say you forgot the lyrics.
Yeah. That's
No, just revert back
It's
to
one
like
thing getting the lyrics wrong, but delaying all the vocals for the rest of the song.
I'll never find it, but there's that video of that girl when there's that pop artist and she hands the mic over and that girl just goes,
I love human beings. That's my thing. I could people watch all day. The internet to me is my favourite place on
It's
earth.
the best.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Like some of the shit that other human beings do, it just makes me so happy.
Yeah, what did we do for people watching before the internet? Just like sit in fucking shopping centres and
I'll
wait
tell you.
for somebody to make a cock of themselves.
Ariel's TV burp. There's
You've been framed.
You've been framed. That are still using clips from the 90s.
Do you remember before YouTube was around?
I know. How did we even
My
survive?
nana introduced me to YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. She went, I found a website where you can watch ice hockey fights. I was like, shut up. She was like, come round after school, I'll show you. I was like, fucking running home from school. She sits me down, goes on YouTube, and said, search for anything. I was like,
I remember finding YouTube when it was in its infancy, and the thing is, every single thing that was on there looked like it was filmed on a fucking potato. I remember sitting watching YouTube videos and thinking, well, this will never catch on. What is this shit? What a load of bullshit this is.
Was there like compfuse.com? It was like a similar. You would just they'd like update it, and you'd have like the page, and that would just be the day's videos. Take it or leave it.
And
then you'd be like, "There's this video on like page 16. You have to like go through them all."
That's it.
And then you'd find a video of this dog you want to show your mate. But yeah, that's so weird, isn't it?
It's mad how things have come along, isn't it? It is mental. Like, virality can change everything for anybody
overnight,
at any time.
Yeah.
Oh, that kid wasn't expecting that. He didn't plan that. He didn't, he didn't do any practice runs like we did with Cathedral City. He just fucking turned up, enjoyed that show, and thought, "I'll get up. Yeah, well, go on then.
I'm having it.
This is my moment. See ya." Nailed it.
What was the story you were just telling us earlier before we started filming that you wanted to bring up?
Right. We were talking about.
Tell us about Don't Tell the Bride.
So we were talking about like the editing process, right? And when it comes to making videos, and so I got married on, I think it was like season 6 of Don't Tell the Bride, and it was a hell of a fucking experience. And my favourite story from the whole thing is, and I didn't find this out until afterwards, because it's legit. Like, you get separated from your partner for like 3 weeks. You don't see them until you're getting married,
like a
right?
Dream.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Disclaimer, I don't really mean that.
I love my wife. I enjoy spending time with her. I actually do. Why the fuck am I pretending? So my favourite story came afterwards when she was saying they figured out really early on how to screw with the camera crew, and if they ever said anything that they were like, shit, like that could go onto TV, like anything untoward or anything too revealing about their personal life, what they do is they just immediately shout cunt, right, straight afterwards, because they knew that they couldn't use any of it. So they'd sit there being like, "Oh yeah, I remember when I shagged this guy." Oh cunt! You could like
that's so
they could just straight away get it edited out of the process.
Is that why you kept shouting it earlier on the podcast? That's amazing.
I thought it was personal, man. I thought you come here just to abuse me.
Oh, well, the thing is, it's weird. In Scotland, it's a term of endearment, you know?
But it cunt.
Hi, you know that guy? Hi, he's a right cunt. Hi, I love him a bit.
Top cunt.
Top cunt, that guy. It's like an entire nation with fucking Tourette's. It's great. I love living there.
That is genius, though. There's been times, like on tour, for example, Nick's got a video of me telling a story that if ever got out, it never looked great. And if I'd have just shouted, cunt, then I might have
that'd have been it, yeah.
You're on YouTube, can't you? I'm on TV, though. We're in the wrong industry. We should work in TV.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I want to talk about, you have had some unbelievable hairstyles.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Where did it start? We'll find some pictures.
And what is your natural hair colour?
First, I don't even know anymore, mate, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
Do you know what? I think that the main kind of catalyst for it was, so when I moved down to Doncaster, it was kind of like a chance to essentially reinvent myself. I remember when I lived up in Scotland, I was still quite an exuberant, like outgoing, extrovert of a person. But the difference was that I used to get my head kicked in for it. Like you'd be that guy. It could go one way or the other. You'd be it because you'd be out, and some of the places that we were going were like right laddish bars, and then there's me turning up in fucking skinny jeans with a quiff, and they'd just be like, "What the fuck is this youth all about?"
Yeah.
So I mean, so it wasn't easy at times to be who I wanted to be without either sometimes taking the occasional kicking or just constantly getting shit from people and just getting it ribbed out of you. And when I moved down to Donny, I found this opportunity to, like I say, just kind of reinvent myself and be amongst crowds of people who were a lot more accepting. It was easier to find those groups of people who were kind of more on your level and a bit more understanding. And so I was just like, well, fuck, I'm just gonna like dial this up to 11 now. And I remember the first
City
one.
life is different.
Totally, man. And I remember the first thing I did was it was around the time of that kind of Russell Brand heyday, and I just copied that style. I had that full blown fringe straightened across with like a bouffant hair. You've seen everybody's seen that one. And just kind of spiraled from there.
I've got so much time for it though.
Yeah, but I think the most recent one in the change of hair colour is, you got to keep something, keep yourself feeling young when the midlife crisis kicks in. So yeah.
This is why I want to work in entertainment, because this thing is going bold here. I've only got a limited time to start dyeing it different colours. I want to make the most of it.
Get it done. Get it done.
Do you have a favourite outfit that goes with the hair and stuff?
Let's not delve into this lightly.
Yeah.
Some belters, Christian.
Yeah.
Some of your suits are insane.
Yeah, I mean the one that I used to wear all the time, but unfortunately it saw too many festivals and it died a death. It was actually called.
We've already seen this one, asshole.
It was called the rave suit, and it was a white suit I had. I remember we were playing a gig in Donny or something, and somebody just had neon face paint, and they just got it on their hands for like painting people's faces, and somebody just slapped my white suit. I was like, "You dick!" Ooh. Actually, that looks quite good. Do it again. And so I just had this suit that was this white suit covered in neon handprints, and then wore it to a festival. And I think like it was sat in a part of the tent that just somebody had pissed up against. And then the next day it was just like a shade of yellow. I was like, that's not fucking coming home with me, is it?
You should make another one of those. You should
think
sell those.
At some point, yeah. But other than that, like my go-to outfit when it comes to festivals, I've recently discovered utility kilts, which are just thinner, cheaper, and they've got fucking pockets. It's mint.
What?
Honestly, they've got pockets on the back of the kilt.
Unreal.
Now, the good thing about this is, obviously, it's handy because you've got pockets on a kilt, and also because festival security never thinks that kilt's gonna have pockets. Like never. What I used to have to do was before, when kilts didn't have pockets, I remember I was going to see Rage at Leeds Fest, right? And if you
that was good that year.
That was mint. It was the
amazing.
best year. You know, if you open a box of wine, it's a bag. It's like that tinfoil type
Strap
of
it
bag.
to the pubis.
Yeah, I used to just have a system of strings that would basically suspend the bag from my gooch, right? And then the kilt would cover it. But the problem was it still had 3 litres of wine in it, so every time I walked it was like bulge. Where I got to the gate and the security guard took one look and went, do you know, I'm not fucking looking under there, on you go. So I got this like 3 litre bag of wine in, but I drank it all before Rage even started. I can't remember a single song.
Can we just
I can't remember any. I remember, I think they played Killing in the Name of.
You know,
Was that the head that came on with the bags in their head?
I don't know that.
It was the one where they were about 2 or 3 songs in before they had to stop the set for 15 minutes because they were like, guys, seriously, people are gonna die if this carries on. People are just gonna die. But that was such good. That was like Metallica headlining on the Friday, Rage on the Saturday.
We were at Reading for that one. Yeah.
Oh,
mad.
That was good. That was Megas one year even, maybe.
Was it?
Such a good.
Anyway.
Yeah, I used to feel so smug getting a box of wine through
Getting through security.
Just strapped there, and if you undid this zip, there's a little
Or
handle.
or like a water bottle with vodka, but squashed up like that, and then like moulded around your thigh or something.
What my mate used to do is, the camel bags that you wear on your back. He used to get one of them, fill it with vodka, and then put it on his front, so it just looked like he was fat. And then the security would just like, they never thought anything of it. They just thought he was slightly rotund. But it was just like, and then he'd just be like,
we started pushing it a bit more. Like we started just sticking like 2 litre bottles full of like and just seeing, and you get through with it sometimes. And then we got into this like craze of like, you go up to the gates, and then just as they were about to check your wristband, you go like that, and then go.
And we nearly got kicked out of Download Festival just because it was fun. But like as you're walking like back through to your camp, you just, as you're going through, you just grab your wrist and fucking run. And they just like, oh, stop! And they come after you, and you go, and it's only once, and then it starts to wear thin real quick.
Mates like Tom and Nick were doing like diving rolls like under the barrier and stuff.
Oh, amazing!
And they were like, we would send like 5 of them after him, and then they'd be like, whoa, God.
My favourite a festival booze story. Have you heard the one about the guy? I think it was at a festival that was in like Central Park or something. What he did was he turned up at the site 3 weeks before. He buried booze.
I've seen this.
Marked it with his like exact location, covered it over, and then when the festival site came back, he just went in and he just dug up his alcohol. He had like a full bottle of Grey Goose vodka or something because he just buried it before the festival site had set off.
Problem solved.
Incredible, isn't it?
I was gonna say, like, we used to be on our like little Nokia phones with like 2 litres of Southern Comfort lemonade. fencing with people. Oh, you know, you get those massive fences. Right, can you see this sign? Yeah, okay, I'm here now. Right.
Okay,
lob it, no one's looking. And then you just see it go like miles over there, just go, oh, bollocks.
shit.
And like someone else would just be
Oh,
like,
well.
Sam.
Swing and a miss, boys. Let's get back to Tesco for another bottle of Soko. Shit.
Oh, man.
Brilliant.
Festival. I could talk about festivals.
Yeah, we literally could.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about tattoos. I've seen one. I don't know how many you've got. I don't know how inked you are.
I've literally only got the one, and this comes back to the Don't Tell the Bride thing. So I didn't have any tattoos before, and it was just because I'm really fucking indecisive and I couldn't decide. I'd looked for years. I'd spent years looking and planning and I was like, and I just never decided to get anything. Anyway, the time come for Don't Tell the Bride, and you obviously get the experience to invite your wife to your wedding. Which, I mean, who gets that experience?
Really?
Yeah, you get. So she doesn't know jack shit. You get to invite her to your wedding, and then I was like, right. So what can I do here to like really like stamp home like this message? So I was like, right, well, I'll get it fucking tattooed on me. I'll get the date of our wedding tattooed on me, and this is my first ever tattoo.
Amazing.
We did this little video where it was like me revealing the date, and there's the tattoo and everything, and she was like proper crying. But I remember watching the episode when it finally aired on TV, and at the same time following it on Twitter, and everybody throughout the entire episode was like, "This guy is a pure fanny." Like just for the whole episode was like, "What is this absolute dipshit doing?" Through the like just tearing into me, like ripping into me, absolutely getting fucking destroyed on social media.
Your words hurt.
And then boom, I reveal this, and at that exact moment, it went from "what a dickhead" to "oh my god, I fucking love him, I'm gonna cry." Like it went from the adoration just completely flipped in that
amazing.
brief moment of just like, well, there's my tattoo. Do you know what? To this day, it's the only one still the only one I've got because it really fucking hurt, to be honest.
Your chest is supposed to be quite
Well,
difficult
yeah,
than your
Right.
ribs.
Everyone says it doesn't hurt. I haven't got
It
any.
depends where you get it. So like,
No, I'm
your shoulder's a day
pansy
off.
for pain.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, your shoulder is a day off. You can barely even feel it. And then you've got like the back of your arm starts to tickle a bit, and then in these little crevices here, this is where it hurts. And then you've got like your ribs are supposed to hurt, like anywhere it's really bony or tendony. There's places, man. Like,
I'm an absolute pussy when it comes to stuff like this. I remember walking in and this big burly guy sat behind the desk. He's like, "It's your first tattoo?" It's like, yeah, it's my first one. "And you're having it done in your chest?" "Yeah, why?" So, good luck with that.
Oh, really?
Have fun, man. Yeah, it vibrates like your bones. So like,
I felt it in my fucking soul. Yeah, Jesus.
That vibration just travels. You just like you're getting it like there or like there, and you can feel it here.
I thought chest was like a safe bet, even.
No, I thought he was doing it on my actual fucking lung. Like, it hurt that much. I was like, nah, shit, it's
Got a case of that black
it's not for me. Not for me.
Has he gone off?
No, just checking.
Oh,
No, it's rolling.
it's gonna be a recurring theme in this podcast.
Is it on?
Hey,
What's your favourite Disney song?
Do you know what? Up until very recently, it was Zero Hero from the Hercules film. I think that it's got the best music in the Hercules film. The whole kind of gospel choir stuff.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. And in my opinion, it dicked all over anything else. But the new Frozen movie, which I got dragged to. I loved it. The Into the Unknown song from that is better than Let It Go, and the Panic at the Disco cover of it. I said this about you earlier.
Yeah.
It's an absolute banger. But I've just do you know what? I
have to watch it.
A few years back, I discovered that there's this like weird kind of subculture for doing rock and metal covers of Disney songs.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's really good on YouTube. I think his name's Jonathan King. I can't remember if that's right. But he does like pop punk covers of Disney songs and like metal covers. He does this metal cover of Kill the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Avenged Sevenfold. It's
really?
like, honestly, you're like, this is one of the best metal tracks I've ever heard.
He plays every instrument.
Yes, yeah.
I've seen
He's
it. He's got 6
absolutely,
studios,
he's
Long
absolutely
brown
incredible.
hair.
Has to be. And he
think
plays
so.
the drums, bass, everything. Yeah, and he gets like a mate to help him with vocals.
Yeah,
He sings as well, I think.
He's just done that Witcher song. If it's the right
Yeah,
one.
he's
Possibly, yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's been on a fucking loop in my head since I've watched it.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I heard it. I saw loads of people put it on their status, like toss a coin to your witch, and I was like, right, I need to hear this fucking song. So I listened to it on Spotify. I was like, shit. And then I've now watched the series. I don't even like the song, and I find myself going, toss a coin to your witcher.
Oh, that one!
Yeah,
I remember like humming that. We need just.
Oh, you should stop, Maureen.
Yeah, I saw it from where I was.
Well
yeah.
done. Oh, that means we've lost about 30 seconds of footage, doesn't it?
No, it literally just clicked off at that exact moment. I said to you, yeah.
We lose like a minute.
No, none of that.
None of that, please.
But yeah, Witcher. Well, I didn't know that had been done because me and my girlfriend just finished watching that like literally last week. I loved it, but do you mean like the version that's on the series, or do you mean
both?
Like the metal version?
Both. Do you know what? I remember watching that episode because I wasn't really. I was one of those people that was like waiting with bated breath because I
Yeah.
remember playing that game and plowing like 180 hours into it over the course of 2 weeks, just like, oh my god, more side quests, everything, fucking come at me. Such a good game. So I remember waiting for it for absolutely ages, and I really wasn't that taken with the first episode, and then the second episode comes along and I'm like, oh, this is getting to
It
it.
took
And
me
then at the
three
end
to
of that
get
episode,
into
when
it.
he comes out with that song, I'm like, that's a banger. And then the metal version pops up online as well. I'm like, this is, that's it's
I love how
just
like
so
they've
good.
catchy, man.
all got their weapons and that trying to climb over that cliff, and he's just got his loot.
on the back,
Is
yeah.
that a spoiler? I'm not that far
Essentials.
into it yet.
Don't worry, it doesn't really change the whole episode. I won't tell you.
I'm not.
Yeah, the presence of the loot won't fuck with the storyline.
You've
too
just
much,
ruined
really.
everything. Which favourite busted song?
Ah, shit. It's a tough one. I'd probably have to go with, do you know what? I've actually still got this. The single on CD in my car, the Thunderbirds Are Go one.
Oh
right?
my god, that was not what I was expecting.
Honestly, so me and my mate Keithy, when I still lived up in Scotland, every Sunday there was a karaoke at this Irish bar, and everybody would get up and sing like those old Irish ballads and stuff, and we'd get up and do Thunderbirds Are Go by Busted, but we'd do like the little busted jumps and stuff in the breakdowns, and everybody like, what the fuck are these two on?
that's
We'd
it.
just sit there and get smashed on Baileys until we were drunk enough to get up and go and sing Thunderbirds Are Go, and we do it every Sunday on karaoke, and it got to the point where people would come to see it.
Are you doing it?
Yeah,
Are you doing it this
you
week?
getting up, you're doing Thunderbirds. Yeah, it's like, go on then, if we have to. And it's stuck with me to this day, and it's I wouldn't even say it's my favourite, but it's the one that has
Means the
still
most to you.
stuck with me for the longest to this day.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember when I heard 3 a.m. for the first time. Me and my friend Madison, we had this massive CD player. You put a disc in the top. It had these two massive speakers inside of it. It sounded like shit as well. It was awful. And we had it on repeat. I was like, this song, it just speaks to me. It was gorgeous. Anyway, that's my favourite.
Well, I remember when, so I DJ for Propaganda as well, and the first ever night they asked me to come and do for them, I was like, oh yeah, can you come and do this night at Plug in Sheffield? You're going to be doing it with Charlie Simpson. I'm like,
Bloody hell.
what? Fucking what now? So here's me already nervous.
The
because
man, the myth,
it's
the
like,
legend himself.
I'm already nervous because it's like my trial run to come and work with this company, and I'm doing it with Charlie Simpson. But I just absolutely went for it, and I remember thinking I'm probably not going to really get a chance to hang out with Charlie Simpson. I remember we were in a casino in Sheffield till about 8 a.m. and I was just kind of thinking I should really fucking go home. I was fully prepared to be getting a taxi back that night, and I was like, no, I can just hop on a
Is there an
train.
element of intruder syndrome?
Hop on a train back to
Oh, yeah.
Doncaster. The thing is, he was DJing the next night, but he was just like he was an absolute machine. I remember the thing I remember most about him. He's just fucking huge. Like, not just when somebody's tall but lanky. This guy is tall, but his dimensions just fit. He's just. Remember having a photo taken with him and just thinking his head's fucking massive. He must be closer to the camera. Like, no, he was just fucking. He's just big. It's just like kind of. He's just fucking huge, but such a nice guy. Like everything that I was. When you meet somebody and they're just. There's that air of. I really hope that you're as cool as I've built you up to be in my head, and then they actually are.
That's the big thing of
like,
being a hero, isn't it?
Thank fuck,
Yeah.
you are just as cool as I hoped you would
Do
be.
you like
And
remember
he was.
what like tune you led in? Were you like, oh, he's gonna judge me if I play this?
Do you know
or,
what?
like-
I had a list of stuff that I kind of wasn't allowed to play because it was,
okay.
you know, it was like, as with a lot of like the guest DJ sets, you know that you're gonna have to just essentially steer clear of a lot of the bangers so that when they go on, they're gonna be dropping, you know, all the small things and stuff like that. I think I wasn't allowed to play anything specifically that, you know, he was involved in, so there was no Fight Star, no Busted or anything like that to lead up to. But I can't remember what I played beforehand, but because I remember the music kind of just stopped, and so I had the opportunity to go out front and be like, "It's Charlie Simpson," and I honest to God, I felt like fucking Hugh Jackman, like, "Great show, like, welcome."
Most of it.
Oh hell yeah! I was like, I'm gonna milk this shit.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's time for the main event. Yeah.
Is that like when you realised you quite enjoyed being on a mic? Even
Oh
and stuff?
hell yeah,
Is that
yeah!
what you said?
Well, up until that point, I was always a DJ that had just. I'd always seen people who'd got on a mic when DJing. It's kind of like being from a bygone age of like working men's clubs of just like, and a happy birthday to Barbara, she's just turned 65 today. And I'd always find it a bit like kind of kids disco, and I'd never really wanted to do it, which is weird because I could work in radio. I spend vast majority of time behind a microphone, and that was great because it was like it gave me an opportunity to just be like, do you know what, you can bring a kind of new element to this and update speaking on a microphone as a DJ, and that really came into my own when I had to DJ the Silent Disco at Leeds Fest.
yeah,
And you've got 5,000
That's
people
awesome,
there,
man.
and you've got direct contact with their ears.
Yeah.
It's like speaking to someone on the phone. You're that connected to them.
morning.
Like they are all there and they're singing along, and you switch the music off and you just say fucking split down the middle and get ready to run. And they honest to God, it's like giving instructions to troops. They are just like it like happens instantaneously, and you're like, don't you move?
like Dave Grohl.
You're just like stand still. Like so it's in the build up to like in Pretender, you know, and you're like, don't you fucking move? And it's like musical statues. They just stand still,
you dare.
and in that you're just like, yeah, I fucking love every single one of you. You've been amazing tonight. I love Leeds, and they're just like there, and you can see them just see like the
Give me the drop.
Just give me the drop. Give me the drop. And they're like, and they literally won't move until you say go, and they just slam into each other. I got into trouble for it last year because the security were like,
Did you pause the track to say all
yeah.
this?
You know, but it got to the point last year where the security were like, can you stop starting Walls of Death because it's getting a bit fucking crazy? But I was like, no, well, okay, I tell you what, we'll update this. So I got them split down the middle, and the guy in the head of security just looks at me like, what are you fucking doing? And I was like, no, wait, bear with me. It's like, we're not going to do a Wall of Death. Festival's all about meeting new people and experiences. We're going to do a Wall of Love. So when you run at each other and you meet in the middle, I don't want you to slam into each other and start fucking, you know, windmilling. I want you just to grab the complete stranger across from you, just give him a fucking cuddle, just give him a kiss in the face, you know, just get down and start making love. If you finger a guy, if consent obviously, you know, permitting, you know, just and you fucking did it, and you run at each other, but then just like stopped and just like, you know, come and give me a fucking cuddle.
What did
It was
you do to that
incredible.
security? Yeah.
The security guy looked at me and was like, that's all right. Yeah, you can do that. So Wall of Love is the new thing to do, music festival. But I
invent
think
that then?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I invented it. But yeah, sure. TM.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
I just think it would be great. Say if you're like a fucking Slipknot concert or something, and it splits down the middle.
Some big fucking hairy dude just...
Oh, gives a hug, gives a cuddle.
Come here, lad. Come here, big lad.
Yeah, just
amazing.
not throw them for six. So
God,
yeah,
time
it's.
for that.
I remember I don't want to go on too much, but we were at the Silent Disco in Reading, but we couldn't get in because there wasn't room for it. So out of frustration, about 30 of us went and were just shaking the fences, but obviously no one could hear it anyway. But it's just the sound of that.
You're going to have to tell the story now, the whole Angry Mob story. It's one of my favourite stories, man.
We just went on like we didn't we didn't like hurt anyone or set any fires. But like it
for
did,
the record.
it did kind of get out of control a bit. Like on like Sunday night, we were like, meet at Crossroads at 1 a.m. Meet at Crossroads at 1 a.m. And like hundreds of people came. We were like, oh no! And we had this bathtub we'd found like on the outskirts. Everyone was drumming on it, and like the bath was getting pushed into tents and everything. But no one was hurt. Sorry. And then, but it was just stupid things like the toilet stunk. Obviously, it stinks. But the fact that we were all banging the doors on the toilets. And people walking past and going, that looks like fun. I'm going to join in. And security like trying to break it up. But can you imagine the noise of like 30 metal doors?
Bang, slam.
For no reason. It stinks. Why would you want to be there?
Crowd mentality.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Just the sound of it was just incredible. And there was some things that did go out of hand, but I won't say. But yeah, it was the best night ever. No.
All right, I'll take the limelight from you for a quick second. So, going back to the Charlie Simpson thing, was leads me on to another question I wanted to ask you. What's the first time you were well and truly starstruck?
Whoa. Do you know what? I think it was probably... I got the opportunity to go and see Richard Hawley play at the at Magna out in Rotherham with the BBC Philharmonic Orchestra being broadcast out on Six Music. And honest to God, that wasn't a gig, it was a religious experience. It was absolutely fucking magnificent. And we discovered towards the end that the passes that we had on allowed us to go into the green room. So we were like, well, of course we're going to go and mingle with him. So we walk into the green room and the first two people we see are fucking Richard Hawley and Jarvis Cocker, right? Now, I'd only been in the BBC job for about 2 years, absolute max. So these two are just like other than maybe chucking like Alex Turner and John McClure and stuff like that into this mix, they're two of the most prolific people on the music scene. So that moment was probably the most starstruck I'd ever been. I remember standing there for a solid 20 minutes thinking, you have to get a picture with Jarvis Cocker. You have to get a picture with Jarvis Cocker. That's the battle, isn't it? And standing there with my phone in camera mode and watching my battery just drain as I'm there shaking. And I just jumped in. He was about to leave and I was just like,
no, don't go!
Do you mind if I get a photo? And he was like, oh yeah, sure, just be quick though, I've got to get my train. And I was like, yeah, sure, okay, no problem, snap. And there we go. The thing is, these days, I've been in the job for that long that I don't mean this to sound like big-headed or anything, I don't get the starstruck side of thing anymore.
You get desensitized.
It's because you get desensitized to it, but it's because you spend so much time around these people that you end up realizing that they are just normal folk. You know, there is an element of superstardom about them when they get to go up on stage and perform to like 50,000 people or whatever, but then they come off the stage and they just want to have a cup of tea and chat to people backstage. And as soon as you break down that barrier, because that's the only place that it is, it's in your own mind, that's the only place that barrier is. As soon as you can get past that and realize that they're just a normal person.
Once you get past the initial excitement, and then you think they're just a human being, just speak normally, and then obviously I'm quite good with people. It's no different. Like you get speaking to them, the conversation sparks, you're rolling. That's it, you're in.
Well,
this is mad.
So I had the chance last year to watch Jimmy World from Side Stage at Leeds Festival when they were doing the main stage, and that was a big one for me because they were one of the main reasons I went to my first ever festival and decided I want to work in the music industry. So I went up and I managed to just basically sneak side the stage because I wasn't supposed to be there. And they were playing Hear You Me, which is my all-time favourite Jimmy World song. And I'm standing up there like trying to stifle back the tears, just like, I feel like I've made it. Anyway, I went to get a cup of coffee in the catering area, and they were sat down eating their dinner, and I was just like, I need to take this opportunity. So I sat down with them and had the opportunity to say to them, like, you know, you played the first ever music festival I went to. You know, you were one of the reasons I decided I wanted to work in the music industry. And I was planning on keeping it brief, but they were like, fuck man, this is so cool. Like, and I ended up just sitting and chatting away to them for
it doesn't matter what minutes. If someone tells you that means a lot. That's awesome.
I walked out of that catering tent literally shaking, like tears. Like it was amazing.
If it happens naturally as well, you know, and like I love it. My job, we have to deal with like a lot of quite big DJ. We had like Snoop Dogg and Annie Mac and Pete Tong and stuff. But I love like. They're gonna speak to you. They have to you have to text them to pick them up from the train station anyway. That it's like you're not nervous because you're gonna meet them anyway. Kind of thing. And then I just
And you're going to meet them in a normal situation, picking you up from the train station.
And
Yeah, exactly.
And I just like, I've got this thing I just never take. I see quite a lot of my friends doing it. I don't know, and I think, I wish I'd taken a photo with thingy, but it's like
you're a massive overthinker.
But then it just changes the dynamic. Then you're a fan. You're not you're not like a kind.
No, I think if it happens after a good conversation where you're normal, you're just a normal guy, and you said, "Do you want to get a quick selfie?" They're never gonna have.
I did it with Mark
never.
Lettieri, the guitarist from Snarky Puppy. I was like, I'm not missing this.
Yeah.
And I think we had Limmy on it, Hi-Fi.
Amazing.
And like, I got to ring my mate, and it went to bloody answer phone. He was just like, Requiem.
Do you want any water, Limmy? It comes out this tap for free.
Yeah.
What a boy.
But it's. I know what you mean. Like we were at wedding last year. We managed to get Foo Fighters like all access passes. So we were like side of stage for Foo Fighters. But it was that thing. They were warming up in the cabin next to us. We could hear them. That's them in there. And we were sort of sat there like me and my mate Jamie. And then the door just burst open. The whole band came out and they were there. And it's that awkward thing. It's like you could ask them. You could have a photo with them. But don't. This is their quiet space. This is their one safe haven away from all this crap.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone there was like family or friends who didn't need to have photos, and it was like, we didn't in the end.
So I did this a couple of years back where my confidence for doing stuff like this took a little bit of a knock. Where I saw Pharrell Williams, and I was like, if I don't go up and try and get a selfie with him, I'm going to be forever kicking myself before. If I walk away from this, like this is the ultimate. That's your Facebook profile picture for the rest of fucking time, right? So like, I'm going to do it, and I walk, and I just was like, right, I'm just going to do it, and I just started walking towards him, and I was there with my phone in my hand, and I got as close to him as you are now, and the security, this guy is wide as I am tall, just stopped me and said, in a really polite manner, just said, "Oh, sorry, man, nobody talks to Pharrell before the show." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't really. No worries." Just walked away with my tail between my legs. But I was like, "You were so close.
Why is the world so big?"
No, he was there, man. Well, I say my confidence took a bit of a knock. It did for all of about 10 minutes, where I was just like, a bit sheepish. Just
where was this at?
It was a Leeds festival.
Oh, really?
It was just before they were about to go on and do like the NERD set on the main stage and stuff. And I was just like, I've got it. I count it as a win that I got that close to it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's
story to tell.
That's it. Exactly.
Absolutely.
If anything, the story about me not getting to meet Pharrell is almost as good as the story of me actually getting to meet Pharrell. So I think
everyone I've come across so far, like touch wood, has been golden. Like everyone I've actually had conversations with, they've been exactly how I wanted them to be.
Yeah.
So when I met Josh Franceschi, so when I was growing up, You Me at 6 were like the first band that I ever fully fell in love with.
Yeah.
And that band like changed with my musical taste. They were this weird, edgy, sort of alt rock, pop punk, like emo thing, and they went in a little bit more polished, a little bit more manufactured as my taste expanded, and they were just perfect for me, basically.
Yeah.
And I went to they did a K-Pit, a venue called Blondie's in London, and it's like a 50 cap venue, and it's like a competition to get there. So I managed to get these tickets, and it was just full of like teenagers, bar like, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9 like people like our age kind of thing. And like everyone else were like just bombarding him, like pictures, we get a video message, we do this, and you could see him. And it was really strange. It was like watching Josh Franceschi deal with these fans. And I was like, fucking hell, we're like well similar. Like the way he's like bantering on and like just trying to like act the goat and making them laugh. And I was like, this is cool to watch from like an outsider's point of view.
Yeah.
And because we weren't making a fuss, we weren't like bombarding them, we were just stood to one side, like obviously like within the presence, obviously. And then he clocked us and he came to speak to us, like, because we hadn't bombarded. He was like, "Oh, did you guys enjoy it?" And the next thing you know, like 2 or 3 hours down the line, we were fucking pissed up in this place, like having a lock-in, like drinking, dancing to Drake with him, having a laugh with him, and it was just so cool. They put me on the guest list for the Manchester show, and I was like, this is the best night of my life. Like, this is me dying happy from now on. Like, so I've been really lucky. I know some people have met like some heroes and it's not been worked out too well.
Do you know the thing is, like, I think we talked about this briefly a little bit earlier of when you a lot of people don't realize when it comes to stuff in the music industry is 1 minute you are partying backstage with your idols, and then the next day you are back to work in your job, stacking shelves at Asda. Because I think a lot of people, they see me on radio and stuff, and they just think like, oh, he must live in a fucking mansion or something. It's like, no, I rent in Doncaster, mate. This idea, and I think a lot of it's to do with social media as well, isn't it?
Of course,
you present this image of yourself. Or the only time anybody ever sees me is when I'm doing stupid shit with my kids, or when I'm like, DJing to big crowds or something like that.
To this, sorry.
Have I just unintentionally brought my chest hair into some sort of like
devil horn,
punk rock fucking devil horn? How fucking hairy am I that I can style?
Yeah, you should have one either side.
Wait. Right, can I like give myself some spiky metal?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. I just couldn't help it.
No. The fuck is this? Jesus Christ.
I hope the camera can see that.
Wait a minute. Just in case the camera, I'm just gonna.
He's doing it again. I love it.
Get on that autofocus.
Just for the camera.
That's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail right there.
That's my side.
Wow, bravo.
This
I
really
love a
did
bit
turn
of
into
side
the
book.
Casting Couch episode, didn't it? Christ.
So, how long have you wanted to be in porn?
Was wondering what that stain on the black sofa was.
Just go back to what you were saying about like the whole, like 1 minute you're doing like Cloud 9 things, and the next day. So we won a competition with Hallam FM back in 2013, a big audition, and we got to play Party.
I remember it.
Festival.
Yes, I remember this. Yeah,
Incredible. Like, we'd been a band for 9 months. And let me tell you, Christian, we were not a band. We were fucking abysmal. Like, the first songs I'd ever written were getting played to 70,000 people. I look back at these songs, mate, and they are awful.
Cringe.
They've been written by a teenager that's never written songs before.
Sounded pretty good.
Come on.
They-
Come on. Don't try and bottom me up.
No plans to re-record them anytime soon.
No chance. Anyway, so like that day was just nuts. Like we were sat with Blue. Like we had a beer with Blue. Like
Jesus.
that's
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah.
Like, and our guitarist Tom managed to offend Anthony Costa. It was some shit. Like it was just the most surreal day. Like it was just nuts. The very next morning at 8:30 in the morning, I was carrying buckets of bricks up and down a fucking ladder in the rain. Just thinking, yesterday I was on stage to 70,000 people. I signed things. People ambushed me for pictures. I was a god for a day, man. I was a god for a day. And that was the biggest kick in the fucking bollocks I've ever had in my life.
Oh God, yeah.
I've never been so depressed.
My mate, he used to be the guitarist in a band called Summerlin, and he summed it up in like one phrase, where one moment he was partying backstage and then the next minute he was back at a job, and he just put this status up. It was just like London high life to Donny low life, fuck my life. Just in one sentence. That is the music industry at this level, in one fucking sentence.
Literally,
just like boom. 1 minute you're up here, and then the next minute you're back to your normal job. But and this is the thing as well. There's nothing wrong with those, normal jobs that we all have to do. I was saying this to somebody the other day. Like, yeah, I'm on radio now, and I make a career as a DJ. But I've done fucking everything. I've worked in everything from like, my first job at fucking shortbread factories to stacking shelves at Asda. In some instances, I think it's weird because those like mind-numbing jobs that you kind of just do for the sake of making a living.
They
Sometimes,
shape you.
and they can kind of. I find it quite helped my creativity. Because you're there and you're just like, I don't want to be doing this forever. So while you're switching your mind off to the task that you're physically doing, you can have a thing in the back of your mind going, well, what if I do this? And what if I do this? And what if I do this?
Yeah.
I think mind-numbing jobs have a lot to answer for when it comes to
agree.
creativity.
Because sometimes I'll come home and you'll want to like do like music stuff. I've just like been like working like in a music venue all day, and it's just like, oh God,
I don't want to.
I don't know. But sounding like that is first world problems, isn't it? But like, I know what you're saying though.
Yeah.
I shouldn't admit this on a podcast because I might end up working there again one day. Who knows? But one of my old jobs, if I'm not going to say where it was, I just sit and we were targeted on some things a month, whether it was calls or something else. And I'd hit my target for the hour, and then I'd just sit for the rest of it, just writing lyrics. I wrote that entire first EP that we did together, writing songs like in like.
I love that. That's
calls,
a story, man.
Because every call, I got to a to a point where it was robotic. Every conversation was the same. I was resolving them with the same fucking bullshit every single call. I was just a zombie basically, and that was just a way I could just switch off for 5 minutes, do something creative, and you've got the energy to do that. It does help 100%.
Definitely, yeah.
So going on back on what you've just said, I'll round it up with this. So obviously I've known who you are for a long time. Like, you've supported us for fucking years, and we appreciate it massively, by the way.
Been a pleasure.
You strike me as a guy with goals, and I fucking respect that. Like, you're always involved, your fingers in many pies, whether it's festivals or radio, your own podcast, if you want to promote that a little bit. What's next for Christian Carlisle?
Oh God, man. Do you know what? This is a weird thing, because I think, like you say, people see me as like this really driven guy who's always got his eye on the prize, of what the main destination is. But it could not be further from the truth. I'm more of a journey than a destination guy. Like, just seeing where it takes me.
That's the secret, though, isn't it?
Oh hell yeah, man! Like, a lot of people have said to me, like, oh yeah, I know you work in radio, but like, what's the dream job? And the answer is always, I'm currently doing it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm quite happy, to be honest. Don't get me wrong. If like a new opportunity comes along, I'm not gonna I'm gonna seize it. I'm gonna jump on it. But at the moment, I just really fucking enjoy what I do. And do you know what the weird thing is? I never wanted to work in radio. Like, this wasn't the goal. My goal was I was going to be Doctor Who. I want to be an actor. That was it.
I can see that. You
That
make
was
a
it.
fucking
I was
good
like,
Doctor
I was
Who.
like, I am. That is what I am going to do one day. That was my, like, the be all and end all. I am going to do that. And then for one reason or another, life just takes you on these weird little different directions. And I ended up being in a band, and then by accident discovered a radio station that needed some presenters. Did that for 3 years as a volunteer. Got given the job at the BBC because they liked what I did, and then as a result I've been doing this for 9 years, and I just get to sit and listen to fucking music all day.
You don't even have to write it.
And then,
you don't have to sit there going, it's not fucking good enough.
But my forte has always been in like being able to find a good track regardless of what genre it's from. Just being able to listen to music and go, that's got that certain je ne sais quoi. That's better than that for whatever reason. So I was like, well, I may as well capitalize on that and carry on doing this as a job. And that's not to say that, like, I've not got any of these like aspirations of, I must be working on 6 Music or Radio 1 within the next 5 years or anything. For all I know, I'm going to bin this off and go back to wanting to be an actor and actually pursue that career.
You said that last night on
some
the
podcast that we did.
Someone said, "What's your dream job?" And he said,
It'd probably be an actor. If it wasn't music related, it would be that. Because I did performing arts at college, and it put me off it, actually. I used to love doing it. I was always involved in like school plays, and like my nan used to take me to this drama club on a Friday evening.
Been there,
And so I did this thing at college, and suddenly I was learning about all the fucking scenery on stage and who pulls the lights and why fucking certain curtains.
And why and how
I had to learn to dance. Fuck off.
How to correctly wrap an XLR cable and shit. And I'm like, what? This is not what I signed up for. I did the exact same thing. I ended up on a course that was like theatre production, and I'm there just like designing sets, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking design.
I want to be the fucking star of the show. I don't want to be fucking decorating your stage.
No, but the good thing was that it's weird because doing that for so many years, because I did the whole I worked as an actor fresh out of school, and did lots of like touring theatre companies and stuff like that, and then never really utilised those skills since then, or at least so I thought, because the reality was that I was this. So one of my youngest son is very much like I was at his age, in that he's very shy. He doesn't speak to new people. If a stranger asked him his name, he'll just like say it under his breath. I was that kid. I was, I was very, very shy, very retiring. I wasn't good in social circumstances. And my mum basically like kicked me into a theatre group. And I was like crying, like, I don't want to, there's too many people. It's like, I don't want to go. So she was like, you're fucking going in, go and have fun. And I came out of it 2 hours later, and I was a completely changed kid. And ever since then, my confidence has been through the fucking roof.
Because fear is an invented thing.
Oh God,
it's an irrational
and
thing.
as soon as you can get past that and be able to be comfortable, around other people, and also with yourself, that skill you can transpose into so many different aspects of your life.
100%.
And especially when it comes to the music industry, when you've got to just be able to like just
I think my time in sales and my time in music have gone hand in hand with each other. Both complement each other's confidence.
Mad, isn't it?
Together. It's like the whole thing is a performance in one way or another.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I've grown in both in the same rate. Definitely.
It's all about skill set, isn't it? It all works together.
Yeah.
And
So
stuff.
I'm always thinking of ideas for like YouTube videos and stuff. So now, Christian Carlisle, I will, if I think of a part that needs playing, I'm going to drop you a message. We'll get you back involved in acting.
There we go.
Good.
Oh, brilliant. Amazing.
Where do you want to promote yourself? Where can we find you, Chris?
Oh yeah, just socials is usually just at Christian Carlisle is the best way to find me. I think it's DJ Christian Carlisle over on Facebook and stuff like that. Got a new podcast coming out soon, Heavy Rotation, looking at like grassroots music across the UK,
Awesome.
which you guys will be on. So more on that to come soon. But thank you so much for
Thank
having
you
me.
for coming
Yeah,
over. Thank you for doing our podcast.
Yeah,
and
thanks for doing
including
this.
yours.
Yeah,
we appreciate
thanks.
everything you do with introducing and
good
keep doing what
stuff.
you're doing.
Cheers, thanks,
Cheers,
gents.
dude.
Ace, thank you, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, mine.
Thank you.